If you'd like to play competitive Pauper Commander online, join our community by using the link in the description to join the Sanctuary PDH Discord channel. We hold free weekly events Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Winners get a pack of stickers and tokens from PDH community members. We also do live commentary for each of these events, so follow us on Twitch and turn on notifications even if you can only pop in to say hello. Sanctuary also holds quarterly paid PDH tournaments with cash prizes. Check out the announcements channel in the Discord for more information. Thank you for tuning into Sanctuary, the Sanctuary FNM series. I'm Lobert, and this is Daxx. Say hi, Daxx.
Hey, Daxx.
Today, in position 1, we have Suomi on Erinis Gloomstalker, Street Urchin. In position 2, we have Islaine, the Possibility Storm, on Arabella, Abandoned Doll. And in position 3, we have Duke Slayer on Savage Ventmaw. In position 4, Awesome Rusko on Abdel Adrian, Gorian's Ward, and Agent of the Shadow Thieves. Wow, so it looks like already, this is an Erinis in play, thanks to a land enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
And Duke's got a haste source for his Savage Ventmaw and is up to 3 mana, gonna have 4 next turn. That's, Savage Ventmaw is it 6?
I believe it's 6, and then when it attacks, you get 6 back.
Yes, that's right, actually. I got that up. And Rusko just laying down a helpful hunter to draw a card, build up the redraw count with Abdel.
Beautiful new spirited companion for all of the dog haters out there. This is the cat variant. Thanks to Foundations. Absolutely love this card.
So we'll be playing a Malevolent Rumble. So he's looking at the top 4, pulling a permanent card out of there, and then getting an Eldrazi Spawn. A nice way to get some temporary ramp and some amazing selection. One of the best cards we got out of Modern Horizons 3, I believe. At least for green.
Yes, and seeing Erinis out to this commanding lead already, she's already a problem when she's sitting at the table, almost public enemy number 1. But then Islaine needs to stick and keep Arabella, which is somewhat unlikely. Same thing with Savage Ventmaw, needs the ability to attack. Does have the haste enabler, and then same thing with Abdel. Any sort of target flickering combo. So I like I said, at this point, I think seat 1. Erinis is going to be the public enemy and the first target here with a lot of the spells being slung.
That's interesting. I'd say Abdel is usually default arc enemy in a pod. I think that Arabella and Savage Ventmaw are going to be relying on Erinis to do that for them, and then they're like, okay, you're going to have them under control, and then I'm going to try to beat up on you. I mean, nobody's happy to sit across from Erinis.
No, and I mean, I guess that point we do see a heir apparent, my choice of most overrated card of last year, but it looks like Islaine's going to be playing a heir apparent Arabella style deck, which again on the trigger on the stack, Erinis can kind of keep that in check, but again with the 2 aggro decks, I guess there's 3 aggro decks. I guess in theory Erinis is considered a control deck, but with the 2 aggro decks. To your point, Robert, beating down Abdel, Arabella might be able to kind of amass the board and kind of swing in and gain some life and close it out here.
It looks like we saw a Winding Way out of Duke Slayer, and it was creatures that were named, and they hit 3 lands. So they got an Oliphant in hand, which is essentially a land, and then they binned 3 of them.
Classic. It's like me watching myself play games here. It's perfect. As planned.
I'll say thank you to Russell Harder. He's the one streaming the game to us right now, and it is coming through beautifully.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, if you did have white bordered swamps, it would be the best. You do have some great looking swamps there, but like I said, white bordered lands are the best lands. I will say that. Okay, so we have Ashnods on the stack.
Yeah,
on blue pod, but you've got green and red, so a lot of artifact hate potentially at this table. So
it's not something in an Abdel deck that you like automatically have to deal with. It's scary. It can turn the extra Abdel tokens into mana, but I think that thing's gonna sit there for a while. I don't think that that's the number one concern of the table. I also just kind of expect people to not have a lot of artifact and enchantment destruction.
People don't eat their vegetables. it's the truth. No artifact or enchantment hate. I mean, like I said, we have a lot of good partner background pairings that I personally put some pieces into all of my decks for those instances. So here we go. Another good card here is going to be oh shoot, I forgot the name. Yep, Writhing Chrysalis. There we go.
Yep.
An amazing card in Erinis Street Urchin here.
Yeah, when you cast it, you get 2 Eldrazi spawn, which are good for both paying for and being fodder for the ability. I guess both of them would be paying for it. And then it also just gets huge as you sacrifice these Eldrazi spawns. And more Eldrazi spawns coming out of Glimpse the Impossible.
And the nice part is it's devoid of color, so you can't necessarily, if something has protection, it's going to be tough to block.
So Glimpse the Impossible, it's 3 Eldrazi spawns. They're going to impulse draw 3, and if they don't cast those spells, they're going to get an Eldrazi spawn for each at the end step. So worst case, this is always 3 Eldrazi spawns for 3 mana. Best case, it's 3 spells.
Correct, and then 3 counters on your Writhing Chrysalis here too. Once you decide to sack those. So I do see the draw a card, elf. Yeah, trying to see what's
Elvish Visionary. There, so. Looks like it might be a Rancor. That second card. I'm only seeing the side of it though. Complete guess.
Yep, it does look like the tip of a Rancor. I will give you that, Robert.
So it looks like we've moved on to Islane's turn. Suomi having 1 mana up, which is 1 kill spell. 1 mana equal 1 kill. Like and subscribe.
Okay, so we do see another Heir Apparent come down. So we do get the one token. So as we continue to move on, it looks like it was a past turn here as well. We will see Islane's board continue to kind of grow exponentially with these rabbits and is able to play Arabella. Now, I'm curious to see if she makes the full turn cycle. In most games that I've played against Arabella, that is not usually the case.
That is true.
Full tapped out, no protection available. I don't know of any free protection spells. I could be wrong.
Well, there's a Caustic Caterpillar out of Duke Slayer. So that's the answer, and it's going to take 2 mana to activate this if he does want to blow up this Ashnod's Altar.
Or Arabella, because she is an artifact as well, because why not?
That's true, but I think you can basically fully lean on Erinis for that right now.
Yes, yeah, one mana versus the 2 mana. Maybe a potential deal in the works here, or I can take care of the Ashnod's Altar if need be. If you can promise to take care of the Arabella.
It looks like it is going to be a pass turn. There is no reason to do it at sorcery speed, but no other spells out of Duke Slayer. They have 4 available mana and a haste source, but they just choose to leave that up. Awesome Rusko plays a Thought Vessel, just a mana rock that makes it so they don't have a maximum hand size.
Very, very good in black decks. Just a nice, good, steady game plan out of Rusko here.
Yeah. Importantly, they missed their 4th land drop. So if they wanted to get out an Abdel, it would take sacrificing their only creature, which they're not in the business of doing. They want that draw card.
Mm-hmm.
Suomi was able to attack without, or untap without having to sacrifice anything. That feels pretty good, I'd say. I'd really appreciate Erinis decks that really don't try to control like everything going on. The more things you let through, the more permission that you give other players, like the lower in priority of like, oh well, I have to deal with Erinis. I feel like it becomes, but
now I can't tell. Yes, I can't tell. So Erinis is out. I can't tell if Street Urchin is on the battlefield or if if that's the command zone there. But again, that could be the play here, where you're saying like, hey, I have the ammunition. I don't have the gun isn't loaded, sort of thing here. Where to your point, like because I think Erinis is a boogie woman in her own right when you sit down. Okay, so there we go. Looks like we're gonna go ahead and cast the Street Urchin, at least on the stack. So now we have the ability to kind of start shotgunning some things down if need be.
Yeah, and I believe this will resolve. Yep, and Islane playing a land confirms both that it resolved and that the turn is passed, it looks like. So Arabella, he has untapped with Arabella, and he's a white deck, so there's a really good chance that it's surviving. Probably going to see another Heir Apparent here? No. grab the prize.
Grab the prize.
So
Absolutely love this card. Let's see what you discard. I mean, a lot of so it was a non-land, so it looks like everybody is going to go ahead and take 2. But yeah, absolutely like this. Some more symmetrical damage in the deck that wants to be doing symmetrical damage. Some good card draw, and if you're even if you pitch a heir apparent, a lot of the recursion in our format cares about that magical 3 number in the graveyard. So definitely a deck that wants to be able to recur some things.
So here's a Witty Roastmaster. It deals damage whenever another creature enters under your control. So 1 Heir Apparent at this point would represent 3 damage to each opponent. No, 9 total, in addition to what Arabella is able to do.
Seems pretty good.
That's something that I've been thinking about a lot. Like the presence of just like 1 Arabella deck really warps a pod around just how much damage it can do. Like in that, like if one of these players, like if Awesome Rusko has like a Soul Sister in hand, some huge life gain source, you're able to just like sign off on that and say like, yeah, it's fine, I'll take it. Like, or if Suomi has like a Fangren Marauder and it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go down to almost dead and you're gonna kill my opponents for me. That's the position I want to be in. Because I think when I've been in the position of the Arabella deck, I feel like I do get used a lot in that same way.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely powerful, and they're going to go up to a high life here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it because a lot of times we don't get to see Arabella, at least in the games that I've played against the deck. Like maybe it gets one swing and then it's just kind of left alone. But I mean, your thoughts here? Like, I don't want to say Duke is behind. I mean, he does have the ability to kind of remove a commander or a combo piece. But sitting on 3 lands, 4 mana with the Llanowar Elves there. So close to Savage Vent Maw.
I think right now we're discussing going into is Lane's combat step. I do feel like Savage Vent Maw is a little behind, but it has like, you do have to consider a deck's potential to catch up. And that's exactly what Vent Maw does, because the turn you play it, you basically get a full refund with this haste source. And then after that, the turn after that, you basically get 2 turns. You're going to have like 13 mana at least.
Correct. And like I said, and you're in the red-green colors where, Double Strike and a Rancor or Vines of Vastwood are cards that are, awesomely in our format. That you can kind of, as a 4/4 flyer baseline, not too shabby. Kind of remove maybe a problem as they decide not to block or have no ability to block or remove your creature. Okay, so we got the Woody Roastmaster. Looks like we're chatting here.
Yeah, I think we're still like I see Suomi, the most movement from Suomi. I would assume that's like I can remove it. What should I remove? I don't want to have to kill your Arabella. It looks like it is turning sideways finally. A bunch of them. Rabbits. I would assume that these are going at Rusko, and it looks like we're getting confirmation with this mouse cursor here. So it should have been 4 damage from the trigger, and then an additional. Yeah, I'm not sure where all that damage went. It'll be more clear in the replay, I'm sure. But the table has like we're down to low 20s now outside of Arabella.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and land cycle end of turn this Oliphant. Gonna go ahead and grab another red source.
Yep, so the 6th mana to be able to play Savage Vent Maw.
Correct. Yep.
And everything is a question. May I please have a Savage Vent Maw attack trigger?
Yeah, at this point, I think you need to keep Islane's life in check. Seeing no other life gain outside of probably, like I said, I'm not too familiar with Abdel Black, but I would assume there's probably a decent amount of life gain in that particular deck.
But I am going to get caught up on chat here real quick. Just joking about the snow-covered island making a return that we saw out of place in a mana base last week. Yeah, Rosium's agreeing that they might let Arabella go. It looks like they did, and yeah, I like holding back your resources and not having to deal with literally everything. Kunks is saying, yeah, let her do her job.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we do see the Savage Vent Maw. We are tapped out. We did give it haste. We did tap the drawbridge. So hovering over that, looks like some more heat possibly coming over towards Russ's way as he
Yes.
hovers.
So me
Evil's
adjusting the lands. I'll do it. I'll do it.
So 1 mono black. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have life. Could be a vendetta in hand. Gonna go ahead and lose the 4, potentially the 4 life if it is coming over that way.
I do
But
think
again, that card gets very, very dangerous the later this game goes and the lower health totals go with or without Arabella on the board. Right, it's because there's like a secondary win condition, or at least another pressure point for his lane.
looks like Fresco's hovering over his life and adjusting his cards, so it seems like it went at him. Yeah, no blocks or anything. Or there's, it's flying, can't block, no spells. It is early for a what's the one black? It escapes
overwhelming!
me.
Is it overwhelming remorse?
No.
The one that exiles? Oh.
Ghastly demise.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I just had to wait until you said something so I could say no, and then
yeah, no, perfect. Yeah, that's exactly how. If anyone's ever played games with Robert and I, that's usually how it goes. Okay, so we see an e-witness here.
Yeah, I think it's taking green by storm. It's made it into every one of my green decks. Just a kind of an engine. Like I love it with Implement of Ferocity, where it's just pay green, grow it 1, draw a card.
It's actually in my Sigardian Paladin deck, just for additional card draw, which is, I guess, secondarily also my Kutzil deck. But I have not gotten a chance to play it. It's in the deck, but I know it's been played against me, and it gets kind of wild.
It looks like they're just immediately adapting it, so putting 2 counters on it and getting that Oliphant back from the graveyard since it is a permanent.
Hey, I mean, why not? Because I mean, do you get the mana post combat? Oh,
yeah,
it doesn't go away. Okay, perfect. I was gonna say yeah, because I know some cards are situational. I was reading it as I had it pulled up here.
Yeah, that's a free beater, and
yeah,
if you can play it pre-combat, which you should be able to, you can give it haste, and wow.
Yeah, get a whole second main with for free essentially.
So Rusko is not slamming down another land.
He's tapping an artifact here. I don't know.
Yeah, paying 2.
So something with improvise. Hold on, let me.
No, I mean the artifact produces mana, so it's just a 2 mana artifact of some sort. But it does look like we're in Erinis' turn, and we're attacking with Writhing Chrysalis. Looks like we had an attack and a trigger from Erinis. Do they have something that they've been bringing back with Erinis at all? Like, have they found any sacklands? Not sure that they have.
Seen.
That's kind of rough.
Enough to hit lands, yeah. All right, so then here we go. We've got a demand answers on the stack.
I can sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. Looks like they're discarding a land to draw 2. That's going to put Islaine up to 3 cards in hand. Another Heir Apparent. So this one's going to be able to produce 2 rabbits. I haven't been converted yet. I think that the math on like the first one being, you don't get any, the second one being on rate before the third one is great is kind of like it's before the fourth one you've kind of broken even in my mind.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Cabal Coffers thought process, right? Like you got to have so many swamps to make it worth the while. Where, I mean, at this point, and then I think that's a Benevolent Bodyguard there. So onboard protection for the Roastmaster or Arabella.
Oh yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, I'm that card is amazing. It gives Islaine a lot of insurance and says like, okay, when you get me into the 1v1, I'm not completely defenseless. I think that does mean that Islaine does not, like, he wants to not be in a 1v1 with Erinis. Like anyone else. Savage Ventmaw, fine. Abdel, well, they're at 8, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's any way for them to pull out.
Yeah, to your point, like I said, it's kind of that name, like right, like potentially to Savage Ventmaw and to Erinis, where you have a Arabella and an Abdel sitting at the table. So it's immediately like I'm at least 3rd scariest deck or 4th scariest deck at the table. I'm not going to catch this heat. So there's 8 damage on board if Islaine gets to combat here.
Yeah, so Rusko's going to do, I think, anything that he can to throw a wrench in the works. I'm not sure if there is anything.
Correct, because I don't know if anyone's willing to help save him. Because like I said, if he needs to get rid of Arabella, man,
The more talking that they can do, and like Erinis has the tools, is just like not incentivized. So maybe the delay here is just Rusko saying like, come on, like trying to
Someone
get,
please save me. Yeah.
yeah, trying to get someone to save them. But like, I mean, if
Shrivel,
Erinis
Shrivel in
wanted
hand.
to, they could have killed the second rabbit before, before it was resolved, and only given them a couple rabbits. But it's just like, I don't care. Like, I can stop this damage whenever I want.
So that okay. So something was called. I didn't see if Rusko tried to cast anything.
Looks like they're tapping it for a black. So
Not dead.
that must be
not dead after all. So we're having a Grave Flicker here, targeting. All right. So we're gonna sack. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna float 2 mana. We're gonna go ahead and sacrifice that. We're gonna draw a card. Is that the Wicked Roll token one?
It is.
Okay. The way you put that card back down on that pile, not going to help, I don't think. But at least we're trying to play to the outs. Yeah. Well, let me see what I can do here.
Yeah.
Yep, and he's scooping. So Rusko, great showing. Unfortunately, Arabella got to do her thing. And you were unfortunately on the other side of that combat damage there.
Yeah. Also got the Wrath of the Savage Ventmaw attacks.
Yes.
I think the Street Urchin and Kozilek's Predator, what is it called? The Writhing Chrysalis.
Yeah. So Drown in Sorrow would have, but unfortunately, Drown in Sorrow is a sorcery. I'm trying to think. Like Shrivel is one, but that's only -1/-1. Crypt Rats, Pestilence. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that's a bunch of sorceries.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Shrivel is instant speed. Everything gets -1/-1.
I don't think Shrivel is. I think we're just in like Wail of the Nim and Choking Fumes, but I'm not sure if that's in the list. I am pretty confident it's not. Maybe something to kill Arabella.
Oh, you are correct, Robert. 2 mana sorcery. All creatures get -1/-1. But yeah, the worst part is if poor Russ had that in hand. But again, like I said, we have Suomi here and an Erinis, and then Duke on Savage Ventmaw. So, potentially 2 board wipes there for the Heir Apparent's decks here in the Breath Weapon or Fiery Cannonade. And then again, there's just a lot going on Suomi's board here. So I think, like I said, we got Suomi at 11 and we got Duke Slayer at 7 and Islane comfortably at a 31. That I think, now that Abdel is off the table, I think the sights are now just on to Islane and controlling that board here.
It looks like it's an unexpected windfall out of Suomi. Was that what that was? Maybe that's not. Yeah, no, it looks like it is.
Yeah. So we're sacrificing the 3 tokens there to put the 3. It looks like 3 counters on the Writhing Chrysalis.
From here, who do you say is in the lead? I think. So that's all good. I think it's got to be Erinis. Like, they've got permission for basically everything now. Like, this Savage Ventmaw is not going to be able to attack unless they want it to. Unless I'm...
Correct. So it's not going to be able to go over at Suomi. And I don't think it will either. Because it said they need to keep Arabella's life totals. Now, again, once it gets down to 1v1, or now I guess the 1v2, if we're staring at the table here, the life gain isn't as bad.
I think this is the phase of the game that Erinis is ready to turn the corner and put the boot down on the neck and just say, no, you're going to start combat? Okay, I have some bad news for you.
Yeah, so I see like 9, nothing to sack on board, unless I don't know what that yellow token is. It looks like a post-it note, but it looks like 9 to 10 open mana.
I think it's treasure tokens from the Unexpected Windfall.
Okay, that makes sense. So at least a couple things there just to sacrifice.
It does look like the Eldrazi spawn are all dead.
Yes, yeah, he did. I think he did sack that to cast at least the Unexpected Windfall. I think 2 of the 3 there. So we
I think Erosium might have called that before I did in chat. I'm reading it now, but he's saying this so we can go bonkers.
Yeah.
It does become like a game of attrition at this point. Like, who has built their deck to be the most resilient? It's going to really tax Suomi. I don't see like an artifact land that they can loop. just for like fodder. So they're going to have to make sure that they actually draw into things that they are fine getting rid of to keep up with, Savage Ventmaw, who's largely been taking a back seat and should have a relatively full hand.
Well, yes, right. So that's, I think, Duke's opportunity here, because like if nothing is done on Suomi's turn and just like one combat swing, Islane can win. Because we did see him take down Ruska last turn with 8 life. Duke sitting at 7. Does he have Teamer Battle Rage in hand? So we're going to see the swing here.
So we did get to all the way. I wasn't sure we were going to get this far, but yeah, the Ventmaw is attacking. We get a trigger. That mana's here to stay, at the very least. A lot of really scary things that I can dream up that you can do with 6 plus 7 mana, especially with your Evolution Witness in play.
So here we go. Is that Snakeskin Veil?
They're targeting Evolution Witness to get a counter. That's why we didn't see any action. And it's not in response to anything. It's proactive Snakeskin Veil to put the counter on Evolution Witness to get Caustic Caterpillar back from the graveyard. Easy.
Oh, that makes sense. Not too terrible, honestly. 1 mana, put a counter on it. Grab something from the grave. Seems pretty good.
And this can start threatening, either the Street Urchin or Arabella. Probably that's how
this is
what they talked their way into, of like, I just want to stop Arabella. This is Seeker of Sunlight. You can pay 2 and a green, and it explores. Activate only as a sorcery. That's pretty good for a 1-drop.
Shield Wall Sentinel. Yeah, it's a good card. Definitely if you're in a counters deck, or you want the ability to kind of rummage. I guess that's what I would call it, at the top of the library there. But playing Shield Wall Sentinel, we're going to go find a card that has Defender. Just curious on what's in the deck there.
Is there Axebane Guardian? That would be interesting.
I will pull that deck list up here.
Any calls in chat for what's going to be tutored with this Shield Wall Sentinel?
We already have the Drawbridge out. I do see a Cerulu Caretaker there. Maybe a little bit more additional mana. Stirring Bard is an option.
That's a pretty good one.
Tuk Rabblefort, but again, we have the...
It looks like it's just going to be a Wall of Roots.
Okay, that's a... Do we have that? Do we have a Wall of Roots combo in PDH?
I don't think so.
The deck is on 50 creatures, looking at Duke Slayer's list. So exactly half the deck is nothing but creatures.
Oh, it looks like we're pulling the Tuk Rabblefort instead, maybe?
Okay.
That gives Menace? Or Haste?
That's Haste. That's just another Drawbridge.
Okay, creatures you control have Haste. 0/3 Defender Reach.
Yes, an 03. 3 mana 03. Yeah, 50 creatures in this particular deck, which I guess makes sense. If your commander's attacking and you have 6 mana, just play it just a bunch of ETB creatures or just big fatties. Love to see it.
Yeah, smart. Just like know your
fair
role.
Magic. Yeah, fair magic.
But there is an attack out of Suomi with, I guess, just Erinis. Pullback and Ash Barrens. But right now it looks like we are in the combat step. Actually, so we finished that. We're all the way to his lane's turn.
All right, so how does Islane win here? All right, he can...
It looks like both players have a gun pointed exactly at Arabella.
Yep, and then there's at least one known protection spell. But the problem is, if he has 2, both players left are both in red and green. So I think they have to just kind of show their hands specifically now on what they want to do.
It might be a matter of priority. Like, go to combat, enter combat, Okay, that's fine. Move to attacks, and then it's okay, Duke, you have priority. And then you just stare at each other, and you make Duke sweat and say, like, do I think Suomi's gonna deal with this?
Right. So because that's the issue, right? Because Erinis is green, so you're going to end up needing pro green. But you said Duke could have heated debate. He could have because he does have the mana Llanowar Elves up and available. So or even a lightning bolt available for Arabella.
So it looks like Suomi's gonna pull the trigger, use Tree of Tales, sacrifice that land, kill Arabella. Islaine lets it go, doesn't protect it with Benevolent Bodyguard, and goes to attacks and just attacks for that 6, 7, 8, 9.
And I must have missed it. We lost Woody Roastmaster too. I didn't see when we lost the Woody Roastmaster.
Oh, I think I missed that too.
So yeah, 9 damage going somewhere.
And I feel like there's going to be heavy casualties here. It's probably going at Suomi. Like, just Islaine saying, yeah, the writhing chrysalis moving down probably signifies a block.
Yeah.
This is kind of the rough spot where I think in other decks that I've played, you can rely on, like, okay, maybe this guy randomly has flying, or I'm able to get through with this. I have a plan B of some sort. The bunnies do the one thing, and once you kind of start getting in the red zone with them, they, here goes a heir apparent.
Right. Because what do we have for instant speeds?
So it's not like we're ever going to see that fourth one that makes it over the edge.
No, and then I think most of the white buffs are sorceries as well, the big ones at least.
I won't say.
Ruin, Silver Flame Ritual.
Those ones, the permanent ones, are sorceries, but there are plenty of just like I think there's at least one 3 mana +2/+2 at instant speed.
But not overrun.
Not overrun. Never overrun.
It's a crud. It's 6 mana sorcery speed with double pip. It's playable. You get permanent +2/+2 and vigilance from Now for Wrath, Now for Ruin for a mana cheaper.
Wait, Now for Wrath is just +1/+1 though.
But I think it's 2 as it counters.
It's one counter on each thing. And then you also get to tempt with the ring, I think. But yeah, we don't get 2 counters and everything.
I don't make it that far. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like Suomi going down to 7, they were at 11, so that's 4 damage. Was still went through from that attack. But we're on to Duke.
Maybe not enough because you would have had enough to put 7. So Suomi would have been 4, but maybe worried.
But here's an Oliphant. 2 haste sources.
Beautiful. I'm here for it. This is the type of magic I like.
It's +8 damage to this next attack. Give something trample. That makes the
with a flying savage ventmaw. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Even if Arabella is able to go to a floppity Jillian life, a Savage Ventmaw does commander damage pretty effectively. One of the great parts about Erinis is that every step of your opponent's is something that you feel like you need to be involved in, I guess. just poking fun.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to keep playing Magic?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Gruul. It's like the Gruul version of, do you pay the 1? Like, do I allow you to do this? Where's it going?
Looks like we've progressed to the combat attacker step, though. For Duke, we've got an Oliphant and a Savage Ventmaw attack. That's 10 power now, and then the Ventmaw is going to get +2/+0 and trample. Up to 12 power worth of creatures. We are to the point where that Evolution Witness is a 4/3. That's serving as a pretty effective wall, a good deterrent.
All right, so a lot of damage going towards Islaine there, and then what is the activation? It's 2 mana for a Caustic Caterpillar, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I guess that is an answer to Street Urchin upon a target. But again, just Suomi has a decent amount of mana that can be casted next turn.
So it looks like the first 3 mana from Savage Ventmaw is going to be spent to activate Seeker of Sunlight, and there's a Rolling Thunder that was flipped. And of course, everyone remembers what happens when you explore a non-land card.
Correct.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature.
Yep.
And then you can put it back on top or into your graveyard. So it went back on top. So it looks like next turn, Duke is gonna have a potential Rolling Thunder for like 12 if he's allowed to attack.
Yeah, Orosian's point. Yeah, if you're in like a Golgari deck, that's just like, oh, here, just basically, get a land or put this in your hand for 3 mana, which is pretty good.
Oh yeah.
So let's see. Okay, so we have an untapped step here. So Duke and Suomi both sitting at 7. Islane taking the beating from Savage Ventmaw and Oliphant last turn.
Seems just making up commands in our chat.
Won't have it. So gosh, I'm trying to think here. Like, what does
40 minutes.
What does Erinis, right, as a control deck, right? When Arabella needs to be cast, so that's 4 mana. No, at least on board that we know of. No haste enabler either. So I think I would put Duke in the command seat at the moment. There's not enough tokens to threaten Duke's life. That I can tell. I don't know how many treasure tokens are there.
We're gonna be getting back the Tree of Tales with Erinis, and that's another. Like I have a hard time not siding with Erinis. Savage Ventmaw, I think, is only allowed to continue as far as, I guess, Savage Ventmaw is out of resources. Is at 0 cards in hand. What you see on the table is what they get. That Savage Ventmaw is not going to be cheating anything into play that doesn't exist. You have to actually get those cards, and
Correct. And I think Islane's doing the correct thing. He's probably just sitting here like, oh no, Arabella is removed, right? Might have Expedite in hand, cast Arabella, cast Expedite, swing, and then just take out. So maybe just sit here and be like, oh, I'm back in the Stone Age now. No commander. I'm tapped out. Just let these two Gruul decks take it out on each other.
If he does have the haste source, maybe, but that's a huge risk, and I think he'd have to be hoping that Savage Ventmaw comes out on top.
Correct. And then, like I said, does have the one source, and then Duke does have, I don't know what land that is.
Because his lane has been holding on to these last 2 cards. Like, I think he's holding on to those on purpose. So there's something. He's got a trick.
All right, so what are we doing? Looks like we're sacking some treasures here. And then, the Tuk-Tuk, now that I'm thinking about it, Tuk-Tuk Rebel Fort may have been just an addition. Okay, so we're tapping 2 mana. We're going to go ahead and sack the Caustic Caterpillar to destroy... it looks like we got rid of Street Urchin. That's over there again. But out comes the Whisper Silk Cloak.
Suomi, I mean, this is the nature of...
I mean, that makes... I suppose that makes sense, right? Whisper Cloak on the stack. Right, like just assuming it's going to go to Erinis, and at that point there's no interaction with Erinis. She just gets to shoot everybody whenever she feels like it.
And it kind of makes them make the choice of, okay, so I'm going to pay 2, I'm going to equip this, and I'm not going to be able to pay the 4 and activate Street Urchin. So this is where the fun part of the game, where Erinis has had everybody locked down the whole time, and look, it looks like that unblockable Writhing Chrysalis just knocked out Duke. So the 1v1 is Islane and Suomi.
Yes. Okay, so then we do have an Erinis. So Erinis is probably going over at, since the Chrysalis is unblockable, Erinis going over towards his lane. I see him hovering over the bodyguard there.
I think we've got to be past... Are we past combat?
Duke's dead. Yeah, he's still at 12. Okay, so maybe both went, and then he probably bought the Tree of Tales back. Then we're going to tap all the mana to put Street Urchin back in play. 2 mana available.
Oh, he is able to do it. It's Islane's turn. Throws down another Heir Apparent, get another 2 rabbits. It's 5 tokens total.
Okay. So still has enough to cast Arabella for 4.
She is. 2 mana up, 1 card in hand.
Now, is that a filter land? The gold land there? I'm not sure which one that one is.
I think it's a command tower.
Okay. I think that makes sense. I think that's one of the newer ones. So we do have protection on board. Maybe asking for blockers, and there's
it's got to be a protection spell, maybe
another one.
God's Willing or something.
Yeah, I think so. So attempting to probably try and Erinis, Arabella.
It's 2 mana.
Last Breath. Exile target creature with power 2 or less. Its controller gains 4 life. Power 2 or less. What are we getting rid of?
Yeah, I'm curious what the target is. Is it just I'm going to target the thing that you're targeting?
Maybe just to gain
like
life.
Is Arabella is just an attack trigger, not like her own, right?
Correct. She has to
attack. She has to attack.
Yes. Yeah.
So is this just the removal of blockers?
Potentially. Okay, so that's Crime Guy. That's just what we're calling him from now on. That's canon now. But then we're gonna go Abandoned Fate.
You mean a Hard Bissell Bandit? Avoid Fate.
It's Crime Guy. Avoid Fate. Yes. The green counterspell. The old gotcha moment in Aaron is Street Urchin.
Wow. So yeah, Islane tried to exile the blocker, the 1/1, and so when we say no,
Hard Bissell Bandit, we don't call him that. It's Crime Guy.
Crime Guy.
Practice Crime Guy.
And instead of gaining 4 life,
we're just full out swinging. So, we have Cactus Crime Guy, whatever's there in the middle, and then it looks like a shred memory token. That's what I can see.
Wait, where?
Key criminal. Whatever that token, the far right thing, it just looks like the shred memory.
Oh, it's a 0/1 plant.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna order blockers like this. Kill the wabbits.
Probably Devoted Druid, blocking a small rabbit so that it survives, but avoids taking 1 of the damage. Hard Bissell Bandit. Oh, sorry. The Crime Guy.
Perfect.
Eating it. Guy. Blocking.
Bobby, we need that. So we did some combat. We are down to 4.
That's an untap.
2 tokens. A Heir Apparent and an Arabella. No mana. At least showing. Is that a 0 cards in hand for Islane as well?
It is.
Okay.
But right now, as far as like engines go, Erinis has her attack trigger along with a Tree of Tales, in addition to the 1 card per turn.
Correct. And then it's how much damage for the Chrysalis.
Yeah, that's
unblockable.
It's like a 2-turn clock.
So that's 5. That puts him down at 5. I mean, if you have 5 creatures on board that you can sacrifice, you could just shoot with Erinis.
It looks like a Presence of Gond on. Is this the Crime Guy? So it's gonna make so that's gonna make a dude. That dude can be sacrificed to target something which is a crime. And so we've got a little loop here, because every time a crime is committed, Crime Guy, thus his name, untaps.
Yep.
Very cool.
So full swing there. So that's at least 10 damage coming at you that way. He will block with a rabbit. Or Arabella.
Is he saying like, okay, I'm gonna...
Yeah, I'll attack you. You block.
Oh, okay.
Erinis. You lose 7, puts you at 5. I have this much mana, this many creatures.
With the ability to keep sacking them and dealing, killing all of your stuff. And
But
so
just,
we're
you can
gonna.
just do to the face. You can just go to the face.
Oh, sure,
Aaron.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when we gonna take it down with Erinis? We were able to
There
see
we
it
go.
wiggle into a position where it could give people permission to attack or not. Arabella couldn't really steer the ship and ended up removing their opponents. Not of their own, like of any fault of his lanes. That was beautifully done. Almost had it there, but just you can't choose to not deal damage to a player. And you can't stop attacking or you'll lose. Anyway.
And then the old Gruul, or not Gruul, but the no cards in hand. This is no fun as well.
Yeah.
Go Boros things.
Thank you for tuning in. We're here for round 2 for Sanctuary with Daxx again. In first position we have Abdel Adrian, Agent of the Iron Throne. In second position, that's Awesome Rusko on that. Sorry. And in second position we have Suomi on Erinis Gloomstalker, Street Urchin. In third position, Lil Brad Lotad on Jaya, Venerated Fire Mage, and in fourth position, is it Patuan on Hollow Marauder? Let's see. So I'm not familiar with Jaya.
So it's kind of like a damage doubler. I was just looking her up. So I would expect some spell slinging, maybe some pingers, allowing all of your pingers to do additional damage.
Okay, so this is a planeswalker that's been allowed just for January. Yeah, 1 more to everything. It's 5 mana planeswalker. So far, it looks like for Abdel we've got a Dusk Legion Zealot, so they lost a life and drew a card. Erinis just on the classic turn to Street Urchin. And now we're on to Jaya. So this is a Reckless Barbarian. It's a 2-mana creature that can be sacrificed for red. That sounds like a turn 3 Jaya, if he's able to protect it.
All right, so here we go.
One just cycling it's a Rot Beast. Full name Lurching Rot Beast.
Abyssal Gatekeeper.
This is a
Chain
desperate.
Devil.
Oh yeah, this is a Desperate Bloodseeker.
Oh,
And
sorry.
those are the mills. Sorry.
Yeah.
Beautiful flip. Just a flip of camera 1.
The camera.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so there we go.
Not to be confused with the beautiful
Colors.
flips off of Desperate Bloodseeker.
That is true. And that's a Worn Power Stone. Is that one?
Fractured Power Stone.
Fractured Power Stone. And a Limbus. Love that card. Absolutely love Limbus.
That's a scry and a draw. This is a lot faster start out of Abdel this game. And just a reminder, we've
Yes.
got a poll going, so make sure you get your votes in. You can win fake internet points.
I need fake internet points. Need all of the internet points. Okay. So we did see Suomi and Rusko battling it out last game against each other. But again, a 2-point. Looks like Rusko's out to an earlier head start this time than last game.
And is in a better table position. Abdel's one that really wants to be first, since it's like default arc enemy. It just wants to be out ahead of everybody.
Correct. And Patuan is just out here to make sure nobody has any cards in hand.
Aaron is just playing a Elvish Mystic and passing. Interesting, no Erinis.
Street Urchin, yeah, Street Urchin is on the board.
Just trying to build up. You know, while there's no reason to have it out, no lands in graveyard, no nothing that really screams I need to die.
Yeah, right. I am now. Look at me. I'm the problem now.
So as an Erinis player yourself, what do you feel like that you'd be disadvantaged against a Planeswalker?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thanks, Fran.
No, I'm just. I mean, maybe disadvantaged in the fact that you have nothing to do with it. Like again, I think it's a matter of rearranging the cards in the deck because a lot of red spells do damage to planeswalkers
Yeah.
or creatures as well. I think it's just more so like card swaps. Um, if became legal or just for this particular these matchups. But no, I don't think so. Like I said, she has death touch, so I think you can kind of almost free swing at her at planeswalkers at times.
Do you just think that
I
the
mean,
combat capabilities of the deck shore up those weaknesses? Like
yes,
not being able to just death touch a Jaya.
Correct. Like I said, it's just kind of like essentially it's just like an enchantment, like a damage doubler. There, I didn't see what the minus ability was on Jaya though. Which one's that one, Jaya?
It's Venerated Fire Mage.
Ah.
But that Gray Slad put quite a few creatures in the graveyard. It looks like 3 for Patuan.
Okay.
But Jay is -2. She starts at 5 counters. Her -2 is 2 damage to any target. And her ability does not... No, it says if another red source you control.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yep.
I wanted it to, but that's why I was like...
Wait, hold on. Nope, you got to read, which I don't do. Edict Potter.
Seems too good to be true.
I guess, yeah, like because it's just creature, right? So you don't have to worry about your commander going away to edicts.
So this is that was a Hollow Marauder
powerful
out of Patuan, and then I'm seeing just lands and an Accursed Marauder discarded. So that's a draw 3, and we're on to Rusko's turn. He does have.
And we do see a Woody Roastmaster and the 2 pingers on board already now for Lotad and the pinger the Jaya deck.
Yeah, that's huge. Each of the pings once Jaya is out is going to be double. That Barbarian was sacrificed to get these out, so it's going to be a while before that actually happens, though.
Which could be a heads-up play, knowing that Patuan, what was in his graveyard, get him out of your hand so you don't have to pitch him.
So this
may have just been a conscious effort to just try to lessen that pain.
Here's 4 mana for a Mirkwood Bats out of Rusko. Really winding up for that Abdel so that when it happens, it hurts all the more. Mirkwood Bats does damage to the table on both enter and leave of a token, which Abdel is famous for doing. Here's a Blood Fountain. Gonna make a blood.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty developed board for this is turn 4. The other players have only had 3 turns so far. That's gonna be another damage from the blood off of Mirkwood Bats for each of Rusko's opponents.
Interesting. So yeah, mono red.
A
couple of removal spells. Patuan should have some. I'm just thinking about if Swami can't get up off the ground. So here we go. So we're gonna see an Erinis cast here. Again, probably just trying or attempting to be table police here. With Russell getting his board set up into a decent spot. Lotad having the pingers on board and then potentially the additional damage and a good start for Patuan as well.
Looks like we're moving into Lotad's turn with another pinger. So
I can't even get one to stick.
It's going to be another damage off of the Woody Roastmaster to each of Lotad's opponents. And we're going to be seeing that, how 2 damage all opponents decks work together to really probably eliminate Suomi and Patuan pretty quickly.
Grab
here.
the prize, pitch something, deal 3 damage to the table just from that card, and then on top of that, just an additional 6. Seems pretty good.
So then the Lotad uses his last 2 mana to play Rally at the Hornburg, which creates 2/1/1 white human soldier creature tokens And humans you control gain haste until end of turn.
Oh heck yeah! Erebor Flamesmith is a human, right? Get to swinging. Should know one. Send a message.
Yeah, there is definitely a lack of, there's no one to really attack here. Mirkwood Bats is a 2/3. Hollow Marauder would gladly send any of its creatures to the graveyard, even if they didn't trade well, and they do though. So probably just a pass. Just that's that's so much damage off of just the rally.
Mm-hmm.
You said 4? Yeah, it is 4
Yes.
damage.
Yeah. It'll be 4 damage there. But like I said, if they have something like Grab the Prize as well, that's going to end up doing 3 damage. And in those types of cards, like just the symmetrical damage with just the Anthem right now with the 3 pingers on board.
I have seen more than once just a mono red deck that is fine leaning into pingers is, regardless of commander, is capable of winning a competitive game.
Yeah, because it's like that damage, like it's 1, like it's not necessarily threatening, unless if it's like a potential combo piece. But then, like once life totals and the game starts to happen, and next thing everyone's in the teens or less, and then nobody has any answers to deal with them. That's when they become even more scary.
In Patuan's turn now, he's got Hollow Marauder in play, 4 lands, and a full 7-card hand.
Hopefully not lands this time.
Hopefully not more than just 7 lands, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we can cook here.
What part did I miss? I just got back into chat, and I'm seeing Erosium talking about Edict Fodder and Stinging Furry Bird?
I don't know what Stinging Furry Bird is. No idea.
Is that Mirkwood Bats?
Oh, that could be. That would make sense. But Edict Fodder against Abdel Marauder. Again, that's another perk of the...
He says Mirkwood Bats, he confirms. That makes sense. I riddled it out. It makes sense.
But it's not a bird.
It's a furry bird.
Bats aren't furry.
They're rodents.
Oh, Deathcap Marionette. Love that card.
The Ashnod's Altar is back. So with the Ashnod's Altar, they're able to generate 2. They've got enough creatures in their graveyard to pay for the 7, and I think also reduce... No, they just have 7 in the graveyard. So then they're just going to be able to pay the 1 black and throw out Hollow Marauder again, and there we go. Force their opponents to discard a card, and if it's mana cost 4 or greater, Patuan does not draw. So there's a Reckless Impulse, I believe, out of Lotad. That is 2 mana, not enough.
Is it a land or is that Entourage of Trist?
It looks like it has power toughness. I'm not sure what it is. I know that Rusko is discarding a Eviscerator's Insight.
Yeah, it looks like a Stirring Bard. Is it a Stirring Bard from Lotad? No. Yes.
No, Lotad... Oh wait, maybe it was a Stirring Bird. I read that as a Reckless Impulse.
Oh, that could be, yeah. Maybe that art looks familiar there too.
I believe it is.
All right, so we're drawing a couple cards. 8 in hand. All right.
Erinis initially doesn't care about the discard much, since it can just discard its lands and pull them back.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually it would rather be making like 2 land drops a turn. And it's not going to have lands in hand anymore. It's going to... It mostly loses games when it runs out of resources.
Mm-hmm.
But here...
So Abdel, yeah.
Big Abdel. This is huge. And the table is tapped out except for Suomi's 1 both fodder and open mana. I guess there's the Elvish Mystic, but I think that has Summoning Sickness.
No, I'm not sure. But you'll be able to tap it and sacrifice it, or float to mana and sacrifice it, and still keep 1 open mana.
If this Abdel isn't stopped, it's going to be 5 damage from the Mirkwood Bats just when the tokens are created, and then those 5 tokens are going to both protect Abdel and represent 5 more damage when they leave. So maybe Mirkwood Bats sometimes makes me think twice about my destroy target non-black creature spells. But you know, Abdel's not black. Looks like it's happening.
No, he's not. But at least maybe trying to kill the Mirkwood Bats on the cast trigger.
Yeah,
Potentially could have been an option from Erinis. Yeah, Snuff Out does not do anything for Patois if that's in hand.
It would have stopped the Abdel, but I mean, it's just there's nothing. So this is fine. Table's gonna lose another 5. Lotad's probably like, yeah, okay.
Great, thank you. Yeah, you're putting me in range of everybody else now at this point.
Because Lotad also has like a plan for like, I don't need to attack into you. And we've got to pass on to Suomi.
Yeah. No, he has the tokens, but like I said, yeah, Lotad is definitely not blocking unless if it's absolutely life threatening.
Ashbarrens is the land for turn out of Suomi, and then attack with an Erinis. Gonna bring back, I think, this escape tunnel out of the graveyard.
Pretty good. Yep, and then just go back. Yeah, I'm gonna go crack and sack this.
Looks like it's going to... Is it going to Rusko?
The Death Touch, right? Lose, I guess, yeah. Lose some tokens, or your Abdel, I guess? Or your Bats?
No, it looks like because the only thing I could think of is stack block with all of them, but even then, Suomi's left with some good options for like, okay, then I'll just kill a couple of them. It would hurt really bad, so I think Fresco just takes it.
Now, is Mirkwood Bats the sacrifice one? Do you have to sacrifice your tokens? Not death, isn't it? Leader's Nightblade.
It is sacrifice, so it isn't gonna just be when Abdel flickers them. I did have that wrong in my head. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Because I always get it confused between the two.
Nadir's Nightblade.
Yeah,
you called out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think Mirkwood's the create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn of Evolution Witness, this time for Suomi. Like I was saying, it goes everywhere. That card, like, green just can't help but use counters in some, at least small way. And even if you don't, Evolution Witness is great. So it just, like, makes double use of, like, your Snakeskin Veils and things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, like I said, most of the protection spells. Snakeskin Veil, Guy's Gift, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that one's a counter as well. Yeah.
And just like I've been putting Ecologist's Terrarium in a lot of decks because it's like, well, you know, it's a 2-mana cycler, but it gives you the ability to really synergize with Evolution Witness or pump one dude up just to make it an attack awkward for your opponent or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Which card was that? I don't know if I know that one. Terrarium?
Ecologist's Terrarium. So it looks like the turn was passed to Lotad, and Lotad did absolutely nothing and passed. So we're in Patuan's turn now.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, yes, I know the art of this card. But missed the land drop specifically for Lotad. Or that we may have seen a Jaya cast. But again, I don't know if you necessarily need the Jaya. I think it's just maybe just the win condition. That you just play it whenever you can. Like everyone thinks that they're pretty good on life until she comes down, and then all of a sudden all your pingers are doing double damage. Your gutter snipes are doing 3.
Yeah, you are looking like this would have been a fine opening. Like I don't think you're in from now it gets harder and harder from this turn forward to hold up removal.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to have your Jaya in play before you play your removal. So I'm sure Lotad would have loved to have a land and be able to play it. But you know, worst case, you still play your removal, you still ping the table, you're fine. Staying safe. It does mean that there's plenty of gas in the tank.
Yeah, try not to be too threatening. Okay, so we are tapping 2 here. And we're going to cast... Click that for me, Russell, will you? There you go. Volcanic Spike. Fire. Yes, she does. She does work as removal as well. So okay, there we go. So deals 3 damage to target creature, planeswalker, or battle. You may put a card from your hand to the bottom of your library if you do draw a card.
It's a nice little bit of sorting.
Yeah. Deal 3 damage to one particular target. So what do we kill them? Maybe the Mirkwood bats here.
So my targets are
Valhalla Marauder.
I was gonna say maybe Evolution Witness or yeah, either Mirkwood Bats. You don't hate the Mirkwood Bats since it's killing your other 2 opponents, but I guess it is Hollow Marauder. It must have been swinging at Lotad.
Which seems like a pretty decent trade. Like I can't see how many cards he has in hand. It looks like 0. So I mean, it's not. I got 1 card anyway. You're gonna sacrifice it. I might as well just kill your thing, deal some damage to the table. And
Oh,
congrats.
and I know I've been like commentating from the perspective of I think the Jaya deck a little bit. That's not something that the Jaya deck wants to see. They want to slowly build up their board so all of their spells do a little bit more damage. You know, red spells don't do that much, but when you tack on +1 damage, like it's enough. It's real tough to rebuild after a full wipe.
So we have 4 on board at the moment with Crypt Rats.
And no reason to do anything less than the full 4.
No, and then we had some angry pointing out of Russell towards Abdel, and just showing what's underneath that. Now it is tapped out, so it doesn't have like the emergency flicker or anything along those lines. So we're going to tap 2, tap 3, and 4 for Crypt Rats.
Okay.
So we're just going to go nuke.
So Patuan's doing this to stem the bleeding from both of the decks with the pingers. So this is a really good, from their perspective, Crypt Rats is an amazing card to rip off the top.
So it looks like we did get a sacrifice trigger to kill the Mirkwood bats before the trigger. Since that was going to die, so yeah, tap, blow to mana, sacrifice. I'm not sure. To put a counter. Okay, I see. Put a creature. Oh, did he? it looks like he pulled the elf back. Is that what he grabbed?
Oh, I didn't see what he grabbed with the.
Yeah, I think it was the Elvish Mystic. Because that was the first thing to go, and then he put a counter on. Payton put a counter on the Witness, and I think he put the elf back in his hand. Okay. So back over to Russell now. We're untapping. 6-costed Abdel here.
6 cards in hand, and yeah. Abdel costs 5, has been removed, so it'd be 7.
7. Okay, yeah, I thought he was a 4.
Has 1 mana rock, so even if he's able to play another land, is not going to have access to Abdel this turn.
Okay.
There's your Orzhov Signet.
Yep.
Importantly, that is a rock that makes colored mana, which can be important for Abdel loops.
So 3 mana left available. He does have the Blood Fountain, so he can eventually pull that Mirkwood Bats back out of the graveyard if he needs to for a win condition. So we're going to go ahead and play 4 for a Network Terminal, which is pretty good. The ability to tap an artifact, draw some cards. It's got a couple of those.
Yeah, plenty that don't mind being tapped, but is going to leave up, I think, 2 mana here. Sees a free attack, takes it. Every point of damage in this game is going to matter.
Yeah, take that Patwam, and it's a lot of ping damage. So Lotad's now in a decent lead when it comes to life totals at 16. So it does have 2 mana, but no pingers.
Has wanting more 4-drops to play against Hollow Marauder crossed your deck building criteria at all? Like, have you thought like, maybe I should be playing another Cycler or something at all?
No, like I said, it's made me hard to think about some Madness cards.
Oh,
but then again, if you're not playing against a Hollow Marauder, like most of them, I would feel would be kind of overcosted or bad. So, but like I said, yeah, just the force, some of the removal or instant speed creatures. But again, just like that's where my train of thought has gone. But no, I guess like the Cyclers are probably a good play. Where I do run most of those in a lot of my decks.
Looking like a glimpse the impossible out of Lotad. I think these are just going to the graveyard. I saw, what do you call it? The Goblin with Echo and some other things that they didn't want. So yeah,
Mogwar Marshal. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're just getting 3 Eldrazi. That is good because next turn they'll have 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 mana to play Jaya and protect it. They're on their second turn of not hitting a land drop.
Yeah, I was gonna say still stuck on 4 lands, which feels kind of bad.
They've had windows where it's like you play Jaya, you know, maybe you have to -2 her to deal with the one attacker that last turn, but it's just like nope, your deck's not participating today.
But I have found myself, to your earlier question, more graveyard hate. So I usually ran a couple pieces. Well, speaking of which, Fair and Macabre, slotting that more in my decks, getting Honored Heirloom. Black decks. I know specifically Shred Memory is a nice instant speed graveyard removal if you don't need the tutor.
I think that's a good point, that Graveyard Hate is probably the place to be against that deck. Last week we saw somebody completely nuke a graveyard where the commander was already costing, upwards of 13, and the whole graveyard was nuked, and that player clawed back into it because their deck was just so full of mill and other creatures, and they had time that nobody was able to close out the game in that gap. And so they think that it took like 3 turns, but on that 3rd turn they played Hollow Marauder and were able to start looping it that turn.
Yeah, it's my thought on it is just maybe like to at least buy yourself some time to accumulate some more resources, like have more than 1 card in hand or no cards in hand.
Here's an Innocent Blood, so each player is going to have to sacrifice a creature. Lotad has just Eldrazi spawns. Rusko sacrifices the Dusk Legion Zealot. And that it is significant. They want every draw that they can get when they play an Abdel. But most importantly, Suomi has to sacrifice their only creature, Erinis.
Yep. And I've been in this position a time or two, playing Aaron Street Urchin, and it just feels kind of bad.
Just every turn, play it.
Yeah.
It's just here you go.
Yeah. So hopefully I get a turn. All right.
Looks like a Hollow Marauder's coming down for Patuan. Came down. Yeah, it looks like there was discards. At least from Rusko. That might mean that Lotad's out of cards.
I think Lotad's out of cards, and then whatever I think that artifact is that's sitting on top of Suomi's graveyard. Looks like a mana rock of sorts. Can't tell.
Here, it looks like there's a Delirium Skeins out of Patuan to get the last 3 cards out of Rusko's hand. It says each player discards 3. Lotad and Suomi are probably pretty happy about that one, actually, since I think that they're already hellbent. That just means that Patuan is just like, mutually assured destruction with Rusko right now. Suomi might have had something to discard there. I saw some movement, but didn't track it.
Okay. Yep. Looks like no cards in hand. Also for Rusko.
So Patuan is going to have a full draw 3 here. Goes from 3 cards to 6.
Now the nice part is
Rusko's turn now, and they're going to have plenty of mana to play Abdel this turn. They played multiple mana rocks last turn and actually hit their land drop. That's 4, 5, 6, 7 with 2 spare. No, 1 spare. Five, 6 things get 6 1/1s. We know that they have no cards in hand, but that can be quickly remedied by a removed Abdel.
With the network terminal, artifacts in play, you can draw some cards. But again, no combo, at least in the foreseeable future for Russell.
Here's just the full tap out Erinis.
Yep. We did see an Accursed Marauder already, but I think it was out of Russ.
So Lotad's going to sacrifice an Eldrazi spawn and slam Jaya.
All right, perfect. Do some damage.
So there's probably going to be some discussion here. Like, are you going to attack my Jaya with your Hollow Marauder? Because I have something to say about that in the name of a -2. If that's the case, you can send it elsewhere.
I don't know know how much he costs, but I don't know if you do. If you take the opportunity to kill it now, if you can cast it next turn, he has no cards in hand. So I don't think it's a bad play.
It does look like it hits
Just
the
remove
Hollow
it.
Marauder. I think that he's trying to finagle it so that he gets an untap with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's now completely up to Rusko.
Yeah, and I don't know. Because there's like, what, 10 damage on Rusko's board to full out swing at Patuan if needed.
I was thinking they'd be swinging at Jaya.
Yeah.
Everyone gives a thumbs up.
Yeah, everyone gives a thumbs up. Like I said, everyone just absolutely loves mass discard. That just, yeah, I think you just paint that. You just paint that on your back. That we'll see a swing here at Patuan.
There was a card discarded from Lotad.
The Cathartic Reunion?
That... Oh, in the graveyard?
Yeah, he said one was discarded. I was just trying to look and see if the top one was the graveyard.
I'm not sure. It does look like a sorcery. There is a pass from Patuan, and then Rusko's playing Agent of the Iron Throne.
It could be. Trying to see. It might be Dragon Fodder. 2 mana, create 2 1/1 red goblins.
It does look like the Jumpstart version a little bit.
Yeah, that's the one that it is showing.
But Agent of the Iron Throne is whenever an artifact or creature you control is put into a graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
So with 6 tokens, that represents a lot of his opponent's life.
Yep.
There is just an attack from Rusko. It looks like 2 Patuan with Abdel. Oh, it's going to be a block with Hollow Marauder and sacrifice it to Reckoner's Bargain?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 8 life.
Yep.
And Abdel's not going to die, importantly. I think that was the
tokens.
that was the decision that I think Rusko was forcing Patuan into, and Patuan just had the answer.
Yep. I was able to draw some cards. We got a Mind Stone off of that. So again, we see that we have the Network Terminal, we have the Mind Stone. So if Patuan's public enemy number 1 here, Russ does have an ability to kind of draw himself back into this game if needed, or has the ability to get that far.
So an attack out of Suomi with Erinis. I think it's at Patuan, and then I see
Is that a Thermopod?
It's a Thermopod. Sacrifice a creature, make a red. Okay. I think I did hear that there was a combo in this, and that's a combo piece if I've ever seen one.
Yes. Yeah. So first day of class, and then there's like the Gruul Goblin that has persist.
I will say that as soon as Rusko didn't attack Lotad and kill the Jaya, I'm sure that Lotad was just psyched because he knew he could block the Erinis if needed, and it's gonna untap with the Jaya. And we're here now, and it was just an untap pass.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a card in hand, Jaya in play.
All Let's see
I'm
what we
sure there's a
got.
chance still for the Planeswalker deck to take it, but and Rosim does chime in and say that Suomi is on a couple of persist lines, confirming the
Correct,
combo.
but specifically, I know the Gruul shared mana, the hyphen. I don't know what you call the
Hybrid?
the hybrid mana. I think is specifically a goblin that's tutorable with the matron. Easier to find. All right, so we got a cut deck here.
You're talking Scuzzback Marauders?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool because you can generate infinite mana, and then also it counts as the thing that you can sacrifice with Erinis with the infinite mana. So it's the payoff and the enabler.
Yep. Pretty good.
Here's another Hollow Marauder. Lotad, what's that card in your hand? I want it.
Yeah. It still says 0, so I don't know what's going on. He did hit the 5th land drop, so maybe was it just a land? And then there's the Accursed Marauder.
Oh, it probably was.
So there goes Thermopod.
Non-token means that's Abdel. Jaya being a Planeswalker means it's not Jaya.
It's nothing. Yeah, little Tad's like, okay, this is cool. 5 by me.
Suomi on the way out is sacrificing an artifact land or something.
The Cursed Marauder. He's got 1 mana. Because he's going to probably sacrifice that. So he has. Yeah, because I guess what do you do? You sack Cursed Marauder to itself, I think. And then sacrifice on the target?
So Thermopod's going to be the one that's sacked.
Yes, and I'm wondering, it's just if he sacrifices Hollow Marauder to float the 2 from Ashnod's Altar.
I think that 1 damage from Suomi went at Lotad's face. I think Lotad was at 16, and they were like,
that was probably that was from probably Abdel dying, and then the Agent of the Iron Throne.
Oh, Agent Trigger. Thank you.
All right, so we got a board full of artifacts over there for Rusko, but at what point does Abdel now? Is that the graveyard?
It does look like it's been in, Abdel's been put in the graveyard. Good eye.
Okay. I was gonna say, at what point does Abdel get costed? You get outcosted at Abdel.
So here's a Ghastly Demise out of Patuan that can. It looks like it's killing Erinis.
Okay.
Again. And that was right after Erinis sacrificed a land.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a Shriekhorn. So mill a Siphon Mind and
Ashnod's Intervention.
Thank you.
Yep. So that's the one that actually protects your cards from exile.
Yep.
On the Great Flicker. It's nice.
But it does put it back in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're getting the turn pass to Rusko, and in the end step is going to be activating that Blood Fountain.
That makes sense. Perfect.
So it gets back both Mirkwood Bats and Abdel. Is going to be able to replay it without the tax. Potentially could just play both of these.
Yeah, seems pretty good. And then play Mirkwood Bats first, create good amount of tokens, ping the table for damage.
He's going to have the potential to make 13 tokens.
Which is 13 damage. So Suomi is done for, if that would be the case, which puts Lotad at 2.
Yeah, and
And
put
one at 3. Which again, if you have any sort of sacrifice outlet in hand with Iron Throne.
which really makes me question. I'll say the timing. I guess it was. No, I'm trying to figure out the timing on that ghastly demise. It seems like it was just like a. Here you go, Abdel. We're gonna make sure the coast is clear for you.
Yeah, exactly. Erosium. Yep. Swing first with the tokens before you get rid of them, or you blink them. So I think you do that up at 12. Yep. Looks go. Took 6. There you go. Definitely puts everybody in shotgun range, other than maybe Lotad. Lotad's at 15.
Yeah, but I mean, Lotet has a very limited ability to do anything. There's
Until
not
he's
like
able to do like 37 damage.
yeah,
Well, no card. Maybe 2 cards. No cards in hand.
yeah. I think the
That's
Hollow
kind of-
Marauder made sure of that. I think there was 0, and it still, if there was, he'd be at -1.
All right. So again, Snuff Out does nothing until Abdel is on the field already. Won't do anything about the Mirkwood Bats. Batuan is tapped out.
Seems like this is going to be the Abdel. Yep, the sleeve's a different color.
Perfect. Okay. Yep. So Bats is down. I think that's under Vessel's left hand.
Yep. So, may I kill you?
Yeah. Let's tuck it. So there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Snuff out of Patuan. Paying 4 of his 10 remaining life to stop this Abdel. It went back to the hand for some reason. No, you do want to play that.
Well, I guess, yeah. When does the trigger happen? Is it an ETB?
Yeah, it's
That trigger, and
ETB.
you can respond. Okay.
Yep. And you can make sure that nothing gets exiled. No soldiers are created. Yep, here you go.
So there's just an opportunity for him to respond to the trigger on the stack. Oh, any sacrifice outlet.
That was close.
So close. Nice attempt there, Russ. Nice attempt.
55 minutes left. I don't think this game's taking another 55 minutes, though.
No, I would assume it makes maybe one more swing around here. So, Suomi, I don't even know how many times Erinis has been casted, but I think the price is no longer right for Erinis.
Yeah, they have 7 mana available. I have a feeling that they need to pay 9 for it. Because they had a land sacked, and it took them pretty much everything last time.
So he's Rugo, Lotad Rugo, and now we're back to Batuan. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's a Dark Ritual and a Soldevi Adnate. The creature count.
It's a Crypt Incursion? Oh, I don't know. I was Rosium.
A Crypt Incursion would be interesting.
That's the exile all creatures.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like 3 times. Yeah, 3 times the number of creatures, and you exile them. I mean, yourself is the best target right now, and then you'd basically never play Hollow Marauder again.
Correct. All right. So the cards people do have, they're go ahead and get rid of. There's a flesh bag. I can see from Russ.
Is it a big score or a? It's one of those 4 mana. Out of Suomi did discard a 4-mana spell. Oh, I think Lotad discarded the same spell.
Hmm.
So that's one draw out of Patuan this time. And it's Pirate's Pillage.
Yes.
Here's a Gray Merchant out of Patuan. That's a great way to claw back into this game, is by gaining another 9. Drains 3 from each player. It also means that Gary's going to be in play as far as, like, something to return, a payoff.
Yeah. Okay. Then we're going to sacrifice Gary. Okay. Yep.
The not dead after all.
Yeah.
Not killing anybody, but drains everybody for another 3, and then it'll have a wicked roll, so that's another 1 if needed. But when the opponents are at 5 and 4, that's not quite it. So here's the wicked roll, and I think that we're about to see the end of Patuan's turn. Roscoe's going to get a very scary turn. Because that Mirkwood Bats hasn't been dealt with.
No. So if we can find a sacrifice outlet, because that's double damage, right? It's 2 damage per token.
If Abdel's out, which it isn't.
Well, and then between Mirkwood Bats and then the Iron Throne, if that's 12 damage on board.
If the commander's out.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes, for the agent. Yes. All right, so it doesn't look like we have a land here. 5, 6, 7, 8.
There's 9 mana available. I think Abdel costs 9. We're going for an Arkham's Astrolabe instead.
Draw a card. Yep. Potentially draw another land and play it. No. Okay. Taking a peek at the graveyard here. What's in there? Because I don't think we've seen the sacrifice outlet this game from Russ. Last game we had the Ashnod's Altar pretty early.
That's true.
But we could, I guess he's going to need his mana rocks, unfortunately. So now's probably not the time to get rid of the Mind Stone. Now we could tap that blood. Not sacrifice it, but we can tap it with network terminal.
There's lots of good things to tap.
Yeah, like Lembas.
I think part of the problem is that just like slamming Abdel no longer kills Patuan.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of removes the help. Your help.
In a way, I will say that you want to be in a 1v1 against Hollow Marauder. As soon as, like, the more players you can remove, the weaker that deck gets. It wants all of its opponents alive. I have seen them squirm when one player has just died super, super quick. And then they're like, oh, that's kind of my engine, is them being alive. Red return. So he has access to both halves of this.
Yes. Okay, so you can... So Dimir Houseguard.
That's your sacrifice outlet.
It is, yes. So it's also that one. No, Dimir Houseguard fetches the bats, not Nightblade, I believe.
Right, Nightblade's 3 and Houseguard is 4.
Yes. Yeah. So now you could. Yeah. So the flashback for sacrificing. Okay, we just gained some life.
Yeah, it looks like they're just eating Lembas.
Perfect.
Sorcery
Highly
speed.
recommended. Yep, highly recommended. Shuffle that back into your deck.
It is a food.
It is, and then we have access to, so he's got 2 sacrifice outlets with the Demir House Guard and the flashback for Dread Return. So maybe a little bit of an insurance policy there.
Right now, it only kills, I think, Suomi. And Suomi is not capable of casting his commander, and even if next turn they play a land, I don't think that they're able to cast their commander. So that's, like, not really part of your equation right now. Like, you can kind of just count Suomi out and kill them at your leisure. It's Patuan.
Alright, so I'm not seeing a Honored Heirloom for Lotad's deck. Now, I guess with Russ, he would have access to Fairy Macabre or Bajuka Bog. Not sure if he's on Bajuka Bog. I know most black decks are on Fairy Macabre. And same thing with Suomi. I'm not sure if he's on Honored Heirloom or not. So, all right, so we see a swing from the tokens. And then sacrifice 2 tokens to deal 2 damage to each opponent.
So this looks like a swing at Patuan, and the 2 that are getting blocked are being sacrificed so that the Mirkwood Bats triggers.
Okay. So it was only... Okay, so no, it went towards... It was maybe a split? No, it was they were all at Patuan. Okay, yes. That makes sense.
Sco definitely has his sights on Patuan and has for several turns. Which, I can't say that he's wrong. Like, it's hanging in there. It's still got its engine going. And Rusko has Suomi dead on the stack if needed. Lotad slams a sixth mountain. And I guess is thinking about minusing Jaya, because they could replay Jaya this turn if needed. I think that puts Jaya down to 1, which is awkward. So it's not actually dead. There's some deliberation before Patuan's turn. Being the last counter off a Shriekhorn to mill another 2, Bloodseeker, and then to go for the throat. That's 14 creatures in the graveyard.
Ooh. All we need now is a Lotless Giant.
Oh, yeah. ETB kill a fool.
I was playing one game with Alk. He was on the Blue Mill Crime Crab, as he likes to call it. And I was on my Stick Twister deck. And I had a Lotless Giant, and I was trying to dome somebody for 23. They wouldn't let me do it. But I said, I just want to attempt. I said, in my heart, I win this game for the ability to be able to mill somebody or dome somebody for 23.
So it looks like I saw blocks from Mirkwood Bats and that last Eldrazi spawn of Little Rad Lotad. So looks like a split attack. Gary was on the ground against Lotad.
So I mean, Mirkwood Bats could die. Can die. We do have that flashback, sacrificing the 3, deal 3. So that removes Suomi to bring the bats back. And that's freeing up mana if we need to cast Abdel.
Getting a check of how many cards are in each player's hand. And it looks like 1 for Rusko and 1 for Suomi, 0 for Lotad.
It's going to be 0 for everybody.
Yeah. There's an Ephemerate for Rusko. Doesn't bother casting it. It doesn't do anything here. You can Ephemerate your tokens, which is bad, or you can do your Dimir House card and give it Summoning Sickness for some reason. It's Kaya's Ghost form. Yep. Enchantment version. The plus side to this one is it comes back untapped. That's what you get for paying for it. Sorcery speed. Looks like the Kaya's Ghost form is being used on the Gary.
Makes sense. Yep. Sacrifice it to Ashton's altar.
So it's going to be 1 from the Wicked Roll token, and then 3 from the ability. I think that would put Rusko... Is that his updated life total? Yeah.
Yep, that was 3. So it's less life gain now for Gary, though. Now that Patuana's gone.
No, Suomi is gone?
Yes, yeah, because he only had 2 life. When Gary, he just didn't adjust it. He was because he was at 2 life from Rusko's sacrifice trigger from last turn.
Here's a fake your own death, so continuing the loops. Making sure that if people were even thinking of drawing cards, that their hands will still be empty.
Yep.
Make a treasure. Overwhelming remorse. Deck that you mill. It reduces its cost by the number of creatures in your graveyard, so it's a 1 mana exile spell in black.
Yep, that's the one I thought we were talking about earlier. But yeah, that spell's really good.
I mean, if black can have a 1 mana exile, we can get Swords to Plowshares at common, right?
I agree. They printed enough; it should be a common.
Yeah. Let's go get in a turn here, though. The Mirkwood Bats is dead. I think that had to block the flying Hollow Marauder so that Rusko didn't die.
So here comes Abdel.
Shame that they don't still have that Ephemerate in hand. Could have done some pretty nasty stuff here. It doesn't seem like it's going to effectively do anything that I can see. Unless the card that Rusko drew was like a Cloud Shift or something. Other than just make a bunch of soldiers.
Well, he should be able to sacrifice those new ones to Dread Return. And go get it does this control Abdel, so that's 3 damage. So that goes Lowtown is gone.
Oh, yeah. And then go get the bats.
Yes, and then the bats come back in. Yeah.
So now they're protected from Hollow Marauder in the air. Hollow Marauder has 6 cards in hand still, down to 5 after the land drop. So it just needs something to kill a Mirkwood Bats, and it has the game. Looping Hollow Marauder no longer really does, what you want it to, since it's just at most 1 card.
So Eviscerator's in sight. It's sacrificing. Yep.
Shriekhorn.
Shriekhorn. Draw a card.
Swings, blocks at the Mirkwood Bats as expected. Didn't find the removal spell. Let's trade, and then probably going to see one more Hollow Marauder. Oh, yep. Don't forget your trigger.
Damage. Yep. How many tokens? So we sacrificed 3. How many tokens does Russ have? Does that say 8?
I don't know. That's why I'm a big proponent of play dice with dots on them. So we saw that 5 artifacts were put under it, and then I think he already had 5 or 4
tokens.
I think 4 tokens remaining. He lost 3 to the Dread Return, so I think that there's 6 left.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna flicker, fake your own death. We're gonna flicker Gary.
And with
2?
Yeah, Hollow Marauder gone. It's just 2.
Oh, it didn't flick. Wait, why are you attacking? Oh, it comes in tapped. That's why. Never mind. I was like, wait, how are you attacking? So it does have a token.
Doing a little think. He's done his calculations as far as Hollow Marauder mana. I think he's just trying to pound through in the air is the game plan now. He's doing as much as he can with Gary, but Gary's only doing 2 probably out of grave flickers now. I mean, that gray slad's still sitting up there. Could just play it as a 4/1. I guess that with all these tokens, that's not really
not a great option.
Yeah.
So there's the Slum Reaper. That doesn't help.
Going in the graveyard.
So that Bloodseeker would be pretty good into the Abdel deck.
I think you're right.
Let's see. Okay, what's going on? Yep, so we're replaying Hollow Marauder, what feels like the 37th time.
Takes every last resource Patuan has, and is going to be passing the turn to Rusko. So this is Rusko's chance. You need to draw another flyer, a removal spell, a life gain, something.
What are we cooking with? Thought Vessel. Oh, bummer.
Thought Vessel decidedly doesn't do it. He's going to see what 10 damage attack does. Probably loses one of your tokens. Is trying to bait Patuan into killing Abdel. That's maybe your only chance here. And I mean, even if Abdel dies, there's no way to replay it. You flash back your Dread Return. No cards in hand.
Took the 10.
Think.
Played the swamp. Just attack Hollow Marauder.
Yep. Peek at the top.
Chain Devil. Not going to do it.
Well,
GG's.
GG. It was the first game I've seen a Planeswalker played, especially in a format like this, in a setting.
Yeah, I was. I dumped a bunch of points into that. I was hopeful, especially after I saw three pingers on board. I thought Lotad had a good shot.
So we have to call that, don't we? Pull. Oh, did I do a pull instead of a?
You did a pull
Instead of a bet. Where's the bet button? Well,
Bobby.
I think I'm at fault here. I think I'll have to figure out how to do that another time. Prediction. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, prediction on a poll. Oh well, it was still fun.
Well, GG.
Yeah, I think I saw it. I think Jaya did win the poll, so people were looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, well, I'm headed out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Daxx, for the wonderful time.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to push before we go, Daxx?
No, just appreciate you having me here, and just if you have the ability, like I said, a lot of great content creators out in the PDH sphere. So just go show them some love.
Sweet. If you can't play next week, at least tune in. Give us a follow and subscribe if you can. If you have a free Amazon subscription, yeah. Have a good one. Bye.